All right, welcome back. This is Wake Up Sierra Leone here on AYV Television and Radio.
Indeed, coming up in the program this morning, the opposition leader of the main opposition party, the All People's Congress in Parliament, Honorable Abdul Kargbo, will be speaking on their recent boycott from parliamentary activities over the approval of the ECSL chair. We're going to discuss that issue, its impacts, and its, well, if you like, conditions on general governance in Sierra Leone.
And would also be having a conversation with the presidential spokesman, Alhaji Alpha Khan, who would be speaking on the long-standing issue between Sierra Leone and Guinea, the appointment of the ECSL boss by President Bio, including other governance and democracy-related issues in the country.
Indeed, it's always a dialogue, so it's your voice and ours here, so we're expecting you to participate in the program by dropping a decent, message on our comment section on Facebook. You can also follow us live on YouTube this morning because we're also streaming there.
Right, now we'll delve straight into the first conversation. So this morning we would continue the conversation on the approval of Edmond Sylvester Alpha as chairman of the Electoral Commission for Sierra Leone by Parliament. As the main opposition, All People's Congress, the only opposition in Parliament, said they are boycotting all parliamentary activities. We're going to discuss the impact of such act on governance in the country. For this conversation in the studio now, we have Honorable Abdul Kargbo. Good morning, Honorable. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Good morning, and thanks for having me this morning.
A recap. Why did the APC boycott when there could have been other, perhaps, alternative measures taken?
Well, firstly, you will agree with me that no sooner results were announced, the results were highly contested, by the All People's Congress. And not only by the All People's Congress, we have both international and local observers, election observing missions that, also giving their opinion about the results. The United States Embassy, the British High Commissioner, the French Embassy, about five embassies, including the EU delegation. They came out with a joint statement wherein they categorically stated that the elections were not transparent and they had statistical inconsistencies. In fact, they requested for the commission to publish polling stations results, And we also had the Qatar Center. We had the EU elections observer missions. All of these observer missions categorically condemned the process, and stated that the process was very, very much not transparent. So as an opposition, we decided not to take our seat because we did not believe in the result that was read. And interestingly, through the Agreement for National Unity, we signed between the leader then, Dr. Matthew Wilson Samuakama, and Dr. David Senge. They signed the Agreement for National Unity, and that is what took us back to governance. And we went there with 8 resolutions. Resolution 3 is very clear that a committee constituting both parties, government and the opposition and the international partners would come up with recommendations that will ensure that what happened in the 2023 election that was widely condemned do not happen again. And these recommendations were put together by a tripartite committee in which both the government and the opposition had 7 representations. And at the end of the day, both parties agreed on 80 recommendations. The 80 recommendations were not contested by any of these parties. They all agreed and appended their signature to it, and these recommendations were presented to President for its full implementation. So that was why even when the MCC was awarded, it was conditionalized that it will be fully implemented, provided we fully implement the agreement for national unity and the tripartite recommendations. So we went back to Parliament with the hope that what happened in 2023 will never happen in the history of this country. And one of the reasons for which the 2023 election was not transparent was the composition of the commission. That was made very clear in recommendation 36, when they recommended that instead of president chooses who should be the chief electoral commissioner, they should constitute a search and nomination committee. So the search and nomination committee will require applications from suitably qualified Sierra Leoneans, to run for the positions, and they will be vetted. And at the end of the day, they will present 3 names to president, among which the president will choose the one that will be the electoral commissioner. So all of these were instituted basically to ensure that we do not go to where we went in the 2023 elections that was widely condemned. Basically the recommendations, some of them, especially the urgent recommendations that are surrounding elections, were tabled in Parliament, through a bill called the Constitution, because there are some recommendations that are to be, effected through constitutional amendments, whilst others is statutory amendments. So those that are to be effected through constitutional amendments, including, subsection 3 of section 32, which gives the president the right to appoint, it was subject to be to amendment. So the bill was tabled in Parliament, and we've done first reading. We were looking forward to the fact that second reading, third reading will be as soon as possible, so that these amendments will take effect, before the actual elections calendar for 2028, so that they will all reflect in the calendar for 2028. But we are shocked and surprised that we only did first reading and we were put in abey, and we see them reverting again to using subsection 3 of section 32, which is to be amended, which is already before Parliament, on which first reading has been done. They're using it again to appoint Edmond Alpha. And we said yes. We did not contest the fact that the president does not have the right to appoint.
So what do you really contest? Because legally, according to the Constitution, as far as that Constitution amendment has not been passed in Parliament, we're still going with what's there in the Constitution.
Well, it's two sides to the story.
What makes it wrong for the president to now go ahead
two
with
sides
this
to the story. Firstly, we had agreed that the amendment will take effect, as soon as possible, so that in 2028, we'll not go back to what happened in 2023. So these amendments, why they are rushing it, they are preliminary set to ensure that they affect the 2028 elections calendar. Yeah. So
how did you arrive at that conclusion that it would affect the calendar? This brings us to Edmond Alpha himself as an individual. Does an APC hold any reservation on him as an individual, or is it just a reservation against the president for the process of appointing Edmond Alpha before the search and nomination committee is set up?
Yeah, let me finish with the first question. I did not complete when you interjected. I'll come to the second one. Like I was saying, the essence is to ensure that we clean the system. You yourself could agree with me that the elections were very controversial. Everybody condemned the elections. Elections observer widely condemned the elections. So we said, let us amend. Let us amend. And we are not saying the president does not have the right to appoint. But at a time when the Constitution, the amendment has been laid on the table of Parliament, with even if SLPP wants, the government wants, through the leader of government business, in the next 2 weeks, we can finish with that Constitution and they do the amendment. In the next 1 week, we can finish with that Constitution and they do the appointment. But let us say they have said, well, we will not go by what we have agreed. that these amendments should be made and we go straight to censure by the amendments. Let us say they publicly say they will not agree. But president should not go again to appoint somebody who participated strongly in that very controversial elections.
Why?
In that elections that was widely condemned. In that election that was, you know, everybody, in fact, there were visa restrictions on people who took key role in ensuring that they undermine democracy in Sierra Leone. So we have 8 million people, for Christ's sake. We are not the one that will tell president to appoint who he wishes to appoint. That is his own prerogative. President can appoint somebody that is trust more than Edmond Alpha. But we are saying Edmond Alpha has participated in an election that has been widely condemned, in an election that... And you asked me, your second question was whether...
But he was not the chairman of the ECSL at that time.
No, you asked me your second question. Let me come to your second question.
Yeah, whether you have an issue with him as an individual.
Yes.
You've started responding to that, but I'm saying he was not the one at the helm of affairs. He was not the chairman.
No, let me answer first whether we have an issue with him personally. In the by-election in Tonkolimba, their candidate had 49 votes. And our candidate won the election by 90 votes. 90 votes. So 41 and the difference was 90 votes. And one of the staff working for ECSL changed the 49 to 149. Edmond Alpha was superintending over that very elections, that by-election. He asked the staff out of the tally center. The staff went out of the tally center and they changed it again to 49 instead of 149. But the tally process was referred to Freetown. And when they came to Freetown, Edmond Alpha himself reinstated the 149 for which he had asked that staff out. And he insisted that it is 149 and it is not 49. And we had a bitter issue with him because he had first instituted discipline measure to ask the guy out, the staff out. And why should he, who has asked the guy out, to again go and put the same figure? So we have issues with him personally, quite apart from the issue we have with the entire commission.
So had it been any other person been appointed by the president, would the APC still maintain this position?
No. It is the president's right. It is his right. Nobody will take it away from him.
No, but you've explained your issues with Edmond Alpha. I'm asking again. Had it been any other person other than Edmond Alpha,
no. That is why I'm saying no.
Would you have taken this same action?
No, we would not have taken this action.
So it's not only about the president, it's also merely about your issues with Edmond Alpha.
That is one, and our issues with the 2023 elections. And you've had Edmond Alpha on several occasions. He has been on public fora saying that the 28 elections will not be different from the 2023 elections. So to us, in a country of over 8 million people, you have several choices, several alternatives.
Yesterday he said he's energized to conduct a free, fair and credible elections, that the people should only put their trust in him.
Well, again, you see, trust is not something that they will place on you. You have to earn it based on how you conduct yourself. You must comport yourself, with that kind of sincerity, and then you will earn trust. If today we are here and Jones would say, Honorable, don't be afraid to give Phoebe your money. Ask her after 1 month, she will give you back. It's because he has reposed trust on you, not because of what you have said, but how you have conducted yourself, over the period of time. But we have had evidence. I have just given you one illustrative example of what happened in the Tonkolimba by-election that was conducted, So to us, we cannot just take people for what they say, but we take them by how they have conducted themselves over the period of time.
Now that you boycott, could there have been another action other than boycotting?
Another action like?
Other than boycotting, were there other options?
Well, of course, we have veteran members of parliament. We have the National Advisory Council. And like I said, this is a direct breach to the agreement that was made between the two parties, government of Sierra Leone and the All People's Congress. And that agreement is the agreement that took us to parliament, is the agreement that took the mayors and the council chairmen to council, is the agreement that took the councillors to their council. So if that agreement has been breached, then we have to go to where we came from before the agreement.
Honourable, this boycotting, whose decision was it? Was it your decision as the leader of the opposition, or did it come from the party leadership?
It came from the party. Interestingly, the party has its structure. We have the first potent body of the party, which is the National Delegate Conference, and we have the second potent body of the party, organ of the party, which is the National Advisory Committee. Fortunately, I belong to both organs of the party, and it was that organ that calculatedly, and the votes were casted, and at the end of the day, resolutions were made, decisions were taken with the consensus of elected officials. They did not just do it without consulting elected officials. So they first held meeting with all elected officials. In fact, the suggestions came from elected officials, and the party reacted to what the elected officials suggested.
So you've boycotted Parliament again. Boycotting didn't change anything. Edmond Alpha was approved. Yesterday he was sworn in. What then do you hope to do next, or probably even achieve from the boycotting?
Like I said, the party is a structured and organized party. In the public notice the party issued, it was categorically stated that this is the first action of the party. The party would go to action B, action C when the need arises, but this is the first action of the party.
It always doesn't look good when the Honourable Mohamed Bangura appears defying all of your orders in Parliament. Now, all of you had boycotted, but Honourable Bangura was there. It casts a different picture, if you ask me.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't.
Isn't he a member of the party?
No, he doesn't. He's under suspension. He faced the disciplinary committee.
Oh, he's still in Parliament?
Yeah, I'm coming. The disciplinary committee suspended him. And for you to lose your seat in Parliament, you do not only have to be a suspended member, you have to be an expelled member of the party. And the only organ as per our constitution, Article 12 of our constitution, the only organ that has the right to expel you is the National Delegate Conference. So since he misbehaved, the National Delegate Conference has not convened. And NAC as an institution alone does not have the powers to expel him. But quite honestly, we also have the forfeiture clause that has been put in the constitution in the 2022 constitution. Even your conduct, is sufficient enough for you to forfeit your membership. So I think the party has to consider that also.
While speaking with Fabian just now, you said you had concrete evidence that Mr. Alpha had actually engaged in a form of corruption, malfeasance, if you like, in the administration of his duties. Why didn't you take these allegations to the scrutiny table? I mean, he was interviewed in Parliament.
We did.
Yeah, but you boycotted on the day when he was being interviewed.
Yes, because all of these, were made known to the SLPP and to the government, when the incident happened. And our appearances would have never created any difference.
You think so?
Of course.
Maybe it's just an assumption.
No, not assumption.
But the public is watching, actually.
I'm a member of
It was
Parliament.
televised,
I'm a member of Parliament.
It's for posterity, even for the records.
There is nothing I would have said there that I'm not saying here in your station. In fact, you have wider coverage than.
You think it would have made a difference?
It will not. It will not have.
Why?
Made
Why
a
do you think
difference.
so?
Well, firstly,
are you saying parliamentarians?
Firstly, we never wanted to gratify his appointment, and our presence there would have, to a large extent, endorsed you know, whether we hold a different view or not, it would have endorsed that both
Do you think
parties
it would have been
participated.
a fair moment to ask the man questions head on about his integrity there, in his face? He could have answered all of your questions, don't you think so?
That would never have created any difference, like I said. You know, yes, I'm a member of parliament. Who feels it knows.
But doesn't it matter in parliament? Isn't that the actual reason why you scrutinize these people? To dig into their past, you know, and understand the kind of personalities they are before endorsing them in parliament?
Like I said, before we go to him or before we interview him, an agreement which took us to parliament was abrogated. So as members of parliament, you know, as a political party as the political party, we believed that our going to governance, not only parliament, even in the council, was highly contingent on this agreement that was breached. So we asked ourselves, you know, the question that when this agreement has been breached, should we continue to participate? Because it was this agreement that was solely responsible for taking our seats in governance. That was the agreement that was solely responsible. Resolution 2 of the agreement.
Let's look at the history of your boycotts. You know, you were in trenchant disagreements with the election results. But, I mean, even Sylvia Blyden had been quoted to have said that, you know, I mean, never has she witnessed where disaggregated data, you know, was published after an election. You know, but she's a member of your party, though. She's on record for saying that, actually. But the question is, have you actually...
So should you go by what Sylvia Blyden is saying, or should you go by the law? I entreat you to read subsection 1 of section 92 of the Public Elections Act. It shows the category on which collation must be done. You do it first at the polling station, the polling centers. You take it to the district, you know, you take it to the region before it goes national. Did that happen in the previous elections? I will tell you it's no. I will tell you what happened in the previous election. I was a counting officer. The party sent me to Northwest region. Okay. So I was responsible for Port Loko, Cambia, and Karine districts. You know, we were at the Itale Center. They have just come with the results from Cambia. We have not even counted a single ballot from Cambia. They have not given the IT people a single ballot from Cambia. Then we had Kone announcing 60% of the polling stations, which were 318 polling stations from Cambia. Yeah, and then we asked the returning officer. We said, we have not counted Cambia. Look at the boxes there. Who gave Kone this result that he has just announced? And he was saying, they were not the one who gave him the result, you see. So to say, and interestingly, what happened in that very election has never happened, even in the by-elections conducted by the same ECSL. Yeah, the by-election in Tom Kolimba, we were able to capture the change from 49 to 149 because the collation were done publicly. They used projector to aggregate what is in their RRF forms. For the 2023 elections, nobody saw how they added the figures. No projector. We went with IRF forms, and those forms were useless in our possession because we were not made to see or understand how they were being added, so that we could make comparative analysis with what was being added and what we had in our possession.
Have you ever seen any positive results from these your boycotts since you started doing it? It's almost becoming a norm now. I mean, you're becoming famous for boycotting parliament on, you know, intermittent basis. Do these boycotts yield any serious dividend? I mean, aside, you know, raising questions.
Yes, of course, of course. Firstly, let me make this very clear, that it is parliamentary to boycott.
But as frequently as you're doing it,
yes,
don't you think it's disturbing governance?
I'll give you over 80 to 90 parliaments in the world that they have boycotted. Oppositions have boycotted. It's not a crime.
No, I understand, but on crucial issues like this, I mean, you are
crying foul. All boycotts take place on crucial issues. Boycott is a form of
and you leave the
protest.
job with the ruling party.
What-
So just
yes,
do it ceaselessly.
Yes. Boycott is
Does that
a
make
form-
sense to you, Honorable?
Very much. Because even your presence will not have changed anything. Boycott is a form
You're
of
painting a
protest.
picture as if
Let me tell
Parliament
you-
is corrupt
let
and
me
one-sided. Is that the case?
Say again?
Honorable? You're painting a picture as though Parliament is biased, one-sided and corrupt. Is that the case,
No,
really?
I have not said Parliament is corrupt.
No, because if you're saying
No,
that
I'm
raising
coming.
objective questions in Parliament doesn't matter, then what does?
I am my position.
Isn't that why you're there,
my
to scrutinize people?
My position again. Let me restate what I have stated again.
Okay.
I am saying boycott is parliamentary.
I understand
and all
that.
over the world, they do boycott. And you boycott one for maybe a change in the procedure. You understand? And you boycott because you protest. You know, it's a form of protest against a decision taken that should not have been made. Like I said, we protested because we had an agreement. And this agreement was to ensure that we amend the constitution before the election or the selection or the appointment of the chief electoral commissioner.
Okay.
That doesn't stop there. We are saying again, our protest was, if we have 8 million Sierra Leonean and there is one Sierra Leonean that has been contested by the opposition, there is one Sierra Leonean that we've had evidences of what he did when he acted as the acting chairman. You know, there is one. We are saying, if already we have evidences of that person, why don't you choose another person? If you do not want to go by the agreement, you have decided to go stick to say so by the constitution.
presidency said 12 out of all the 14 political parties agreed. They endorsed the man's candidacy.
Again,
Except for yourself, perhaps. The
again,
APC.
you know the democracy. You are not new in Sierra Leone. You know this political party will support a sitting government. It has happened in every.
Why should they?
Well, that's the question for them. You have to invite them again and ask them. But that's, have you ever had instances?
Well, that has
of
never
where,
been the case all throughout. I remember when the APC formed COP, there were other opposition parties that were a member of COP.
Yes.
And they were not in favor of government's positions then.
Yes, I will
It's
agree
still
with
under
you.
the President Bio administration
I will agree with
that
you.
COP was formed.
I will agree with you. But
So there are
when you come to
instances,
think
you
of
see.
it, where are those parties?
They are there.
Most of
They are
them,
registered parties
No, most
in
of
Sierra
them
Leone.
were prevented from even contesting the 2023 elections. C4C was part of COP. C4C did not contest because they had litigation. This party, Unity Party, was part of COP.
Are you saying it was deliberate?
It was calculated efforts to ensure that they frustrate political parties that they think are very vociferous, political parties who have stood their grounds, political parties who do not align always with government, who are very objective. It's an attempt
let's
to
put the
frustrate
argument
them.
this way, Honorable. It's an argument between legality and morality, or timing, if you like. Yes, indeed, it's constitutional for the president to appoint whosoever he feels, has the intellectual acumen, the experience, and the qualification to lead that particular place. But as well, you have questioned the timing of this, given that the abrogated, if you like, or amended version of the 1991 Constitution has been tabled in Parliament, which addresses all of these, fundamental issues in elections in this country. You have it in Parliament. I'm sure you'll start debating it soon. So, what should we go for? Is it timing, good faith, or legality? Because again, scholars have argued. I've had a lot of lawyers here, both from the APC and the SLPP. Fitzgerald was here the last time as well. We read the press release from Lawyer Society. All of them are making arguments. But the fundamental crux of this is that it was constitutional. Now, I understand where you're coming from. Ill-fittedness, timing, and all of that. I'm sure that's the case. But the question I'm asking is this. Why didn't you go with all of these concerns to where it could have mattered? Where this man was being interviewed,
No. Again, you are taking me to where
being
I've
questioned.
answered.
If you're saying that Parliament doesn't worth, the criticism,
In fact, our contention is not only the timing.
What else are you contesting? The integrity of the man?
Yes, we are saying somebody who participated in the conduct of an election which was widely contested, an election which international observers condemned, an election which resulted to the opposition not taking their seats, to the extent that you have to have an agreement for national unity, resulting in the recommendations of the tripartite committee. If you want
by
to
the way,
save
that
the
very
day,
tripartite.
if you want to, I'm coming there. If you want to save the day, appoint another person that has not been in all of this contention.
Okay.
You know, you can say, yes, because this constitution has not been amended and I want to appoint, go for another person. Go for somebody that you even trust than Edmond Alpha, who have not earlier involved in all of these things. So we are saying, for you to appoint somebody who participated in that election that was widely condemned, you are taking us to the same direction that we've come from. So that was why we protested.
It's always causatives and effects, cause and effects in life. That's how life is. What do you hope to achieve from this? You've boycotted, of course. Yes, the man has been installed, you know, has been even sworn in yesterday at State House. The president did it. We all saw yesterday. It was publicly televised. What do you hope to achieve from this? The deal has already been done. The deal has been done. The man is installed. He's now the chief electoral commissioner.
We hope to achieve. We hope to achieve a few things.
Okay.
Firstly, we want to impress upon those who are the partners, who are between the SLPP and us, who thought an agreement, a gentleman's agreement that was signed between the government and the opposition would be kept. We want them to note that, no, these people don't keep to agreement.
I saw a video,
And
you were making a case in across Parliament the other day.
Yes, I'm coming to that. Let me land. We also want to let the current government knows that the country does not belong to them. Yeah, opposition is part of governance.
Okay.
So they should have a listening ears. You know, it doesn't mean that when opposition takes a position, they are contesting your legitimacy as president. You are the president of the country. You have enormous rights. But for the sake of stability, you have to listen to the concerns, especially when the concerns are legitimate. Legitimate in the sense there are evidences of this individual. This individual has participated in a very challenging elections. Why not you find another person to assure the public?
Is there another person? Is the question.
Why not?
No, I'm just saying that perhaps.
Why not?
I just want to understand.
We have
exactly.
over 8 million people in Sierra Leone. We have over 8 million people in Sierra Leone. So we are
You think someone has much more experience than Edmond at the ECSO? Who could have been chosen from the rear?
Edmond Alpha acted. He acted when Imfali went. When Imfali was, resigned.
Okay.
Edmond Alpha acted for 7 months. And Kone was appointed instead of Edmond Alpha. Kone was not in the commission. No, he was drawn from, I think, the Financial Intelligence Unit. He was appointed from nowhere. So don't think Edmond Alpha is the only person who is available for appointment. You know, if the opposition has a concern, listen to the opposition. But if you cannot listen to a single concern of the opposition, it means until after the elections, all of the concerns of the opposition will not be listened to.
You know, the bill entitled 1991 Constitution has been tabled. A while ago, we had the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Tawa. Now, he's concerned. He's saying that, you know, he's more or less prognosticating, you know, guessing the future, that when it comes to the particular clause that has to do with the elections, the particular formats that we're going to use, electoral system, if you like, between PR and first past the post, the APC would walk out of Parliament. Maybe. Are you considering walking out?
No, maybe that is why they have delayed the process.
Are they delaying it?
Yes. The Deputy Speaker, as you said, is the second highest authority in Parliament after the Speaker. So if he is unhesitatingly stating here in a public forum that they are foreseeing that the opposition will walk out when the opposition has not worked out yet, is responsible for the delay of the passing of the bill.
But for more honesty,
Yes.
would you be walking out on that day, if at all,
We would not walk out.
Okay.
We would not walk out. In fact, we have told them on several occasions to expedite the process. There are good things in that bill, and there are things that are not good in that bill. And it does not necessarily mean that a bill comes out the same way it goes into Parliament. There are some amendments, there are some tweaking that we do in Parliament to ensure that it befits the general good. But for them to assume that opposition will work out, maybe that is why the bill has delayed. And that is why they are doing things that were supposed to have been amended in Parliament. They are just reverting to the old constitution.
You've become almost predictable in Parliament. When things don't go your way, you walk out.
No, let me tell you, for the bill,
do you think
is
you're
not
playing
possible.
into the hands of the SLPP's
No, we are not. We are
political
not.
strategy against you in Parliament?
No, we are not. We are not. We are not. We are very calculative. Very calculative. For the bill, you need 2/3 of members of Parliament to do whatsoever you need to do. Yeah? Because to amend the Constitution, any clause according to subsection 2 of section 108, you need to have 2/3 of members of Parliament. For an entrenched clause, which is in subsection 3 of section 108, even after you have secured the 2/3 of members of Parliament, you have to go for referendum as well. So we are saying, if you want to amend the bill, let us all sit together and have an agreement. Let us go on the table.
Is it 2/3 of members of Parliament in entirety, or 2/3 of members of Parliament present?
It's not
in the
possible.
world on the
It's
day?
2/3 of all members of Parliament. In the case of Lara, it was different. If you read the very clause that has to do with judge, replacing the judge, it's 2/3 of members of Parliament, 2/3 of members in Parliament. 2/3 of members in Parliament. So according to the ruling of Mr. Speaker, I said members in Parliament was specifically referring to those present and voting. But in this case, it is 2/3 of members of Parliament. So the preposition in and of is what changed the entire.
The international community you keep relying on and going back to mention in the 2023 elections about their concerns and questions raised with the elections. Many of them were also there yesterday during the swearing-in ceremony of Edmond Alpha. So it brings us back to, what impact do you think your boycotting would make? What difference would it make?
Again, let me tell you, APC as a party does not rely on the international partners. They are moral guarantor. We just inform them. APC as a party, we have the tendency to take actions on our own as a democratic party, a party that is legal to operate on the soil of Sierra Leone, one of the oldest parties. So we have that right, So we are not a party that is so much reliant on the international, but we just inform them so that they are in the knowing of what is obtaining.
It seems you've been making life much easier for the SLPP in Parliament.
We have not. And let me tell you,
had it been the SLPP in opposition and the APC in governance, and then the SLPP taking all these actions, boycotting, would you then have considered them a vibrant, useful and effective opposition party?
Yes, for sure. If you have been following Parliament, you will agree with me that they boycotted on several occasions when APC was in governance. SLPP is good at presenting a narrative that they are the Jesuses. They have never done this. They boycotted to the extent that President Nkrumah had to advise them to stop boycotting.
Are you waiting to be advised by the president?
They boycotted. So boycotting is not new. It's not new, not in Sierra Leone, neither in any other country.
But it distorts democracy. That's the thing we're saying.
What
distorts governance?
What distorts democracy is when you choose somebody who has demonstrated publicly that he is not fair, and you go and you went again and choose that same person It's distorting democracy.
There's always this saying that
so
two wrongs
most
don't
times
make a right.
we are looking at the reaction, and we are not focusing at the cause.
Two wrongs do not equivalent a right. You have Parliament as members of Parliament to do all your work. Beyond just the APC and the SLPP and paramount chief MPs in Parliament, these sessions you have are not closed door. It's open to public. The very people who appointed all of you there in Parliament, who on a normal day MPs complain that there are challenges to begin to go back to your representatives to get instructions from them or discuss your representation for them in Parliament. These are people who now have access to these sessions because you go live on TV and on social media. What stopped you from utilizing that opportunity of having interrogation sessions or interview with Edmond Alpha on that day, bringing out all these things, so all those people who followed that parliamentary session could have seen the APC doing its work in Parliament?
Again, nobody can be closer to our people than we, the members of Parliament. Yeah, for example, myself, I go to my constituency every Thursday, except I'm out of this country. There is no weekend that I'll be in Sierra Leone that I'll not go to my people.
Did your people approve you walking out?
And why not? We do what they want. Our people were out there in the sun.
Hold on, you say you do what they want.
Yes.
Is it what the people want or what your party
No,
leadership
what
wants?
the people want. Our party derives its authority from the people. Let me land.
Okay.
Our party derives its authority from the people. That is why we are insistently saying that we want first past the post instead of PR, because PR takes the authority from the people. Our people consult with us. Our people tell us. Our people were out there in the streets. Our people were under the sun, hot morning sun, casting their votes. I'm coming. Let me just land, please. I don't want to lose thought of what I'm saying now.
But you saying is the people actually sanction this?
I'm coming. Yes, that is what I'm saying. I am telling you authoritatively that our people were mad. Look at the entire Gambia. They did not count one ballot. And they announced 318 stations. Do you think our people were happy for that? Potloko, they announced 502 stations as 60%, when they did not even count up to 300 stations. Do you think our people were happy for that? In Potloko, let me give you just a brief synopsis. Yeah, for local council, SLPP got about 125,000. Yeah, for presidency, they got something like 127. Then for members of parliament, they got 25,000 for local council. For presidency, they got about 27,000. For members of parliament, they got 61,000. 61,000. Look at the variation. Our possibility. So our people thought they wasted their time. Our people thought voting is not important. Our people thought what they did was very time wasting and the result did not reflect their vote. So now they are saying that they have begun to sense the same trend. Appointment of Edmond Alpha, who participated in that election, has the proclivity to result to their vote not being counted again. So they approached us, they spoke to us. You cannot be closer to our people than us.
Honorable Abdul, so that's Gambia, but then in the Western area, your people's votes were counted.
Who told you that?
Hold on, in the Western area. So mostly when it comes to these decisions, even within the party, you have diverse views.
No.
You would have those who are for and against. How do you, luckily you're not just the leader of your party in parliament, you sit in some strategic leadership roles within your party as well. So how does the party leadership get to determine when to go with what decision, when it is less likely that everyone in the party would agree this is one thing? You would obviously have dissenting views. A set who would say, okay, we agree with this. Another set would say, no, this action. How do you determine?
Yeah, let me tell you.
Which of those views, which direction to follow?
Let me tell you, before the party summoned a meeting, of course you saw the public notice where the party invited elected officials. Before that meeting, the party consulted elected officials to consult with their people. And they consulted with their people, and we held a very big meeting. In fact, I was out of the country while that meeting was called at the party office. And in that meeting, not a single councillor in the entire country said the party should not take this decision. All of them supported the party because of the... Let me tell you, these councillors, they are gaining a lot whilst they are going for work. Similarly to members of parliament. So you will think that members of parliament are taking the decision against the people. What the people are saying, don't prioritize what you gain whilst you're going to work. Ensure that you do this for the sake of this country. Ensure that you do this for our ordinary sake. So all of the councillors, all of the mayors, all of the chairperson, there was not a single dissent in views. All of the members of parliament unanimously agreed with the party. So to say that the party was divided...
So it's actually the APC supporters that do not want a vibrant opposition in Sierra Leone.
Not the...
That keep giving you instructions to boycott parliament.
No. Vibrant opposition should protest. Vibrant opposition should... You see, the way people are looking at democracy here is that a vibrant opposition is what, when you follow government, wherever government goes, that is vibrant opposition. It's not. In vibrant opposition, you protest. In vibrant opposition, you boycott. In vibrant opposition, you have several ways of expressing your dissenting views, to what is happening. So your people there can tell you to do whatsoever. And I'm telling you, this is one of the actions that have been highly commended by the people.
Your party supporters?
Not party supporters, the people.
Which
Those
people?
Who went out to vote and their votes were not counted.
The APC people?
Not only APC. There are people, let me tell you, Sierra Leoneans are not all APC. There are Sierra Leoneans here who are not okay with the conduct of 2023, just as the international observers are not okay. There are Sierra Leoneans here who never want the history of what happened in 2023 to ever repeat, because they went out to vote. They went out to vote and their votes were not counted. Are you not worried because of that? We all should be worried because of that.
Could it be that the APC is not utilizing other strategies that perhaps even the SLPP party, as ruling government, is using with the other opposition parties?
Which other opposition parties?
The 12. That 12? Supported the
I have told
appointment of Edmond Alpha.
If you have read the history of Sierra Leone, you will know that it's very difficult.
Yeah, but it's not impossible. Difficult doesn't equate to impossible.
Always a good number of the party. Even when you go to the parliament, a good number of those who are PCMPs, they always go with government. So it's always like that. So you should not be surprised by that. It's always like that. You should not be surprised.
Is it that you yourselves as a political party, you're not also utilizing lobbying strategy? Because there are MPs in Parliament, Paramount Chief MPs, who would not always necessarily have to just go by what the SLPP party wants them to do in Parliament.
We do. We have always done. But like, you should have known now how the politics in Sierra Leone is. So all these things are not new. Yes, sir.
Now, what's the next course of action for the main opposition?
That is also will be determined by the second highest organ of the party.
So you have to discuss
the National Advisory Committee. Yes, of course.
And then you keep saying that Edmond got approved without your support, but you had MPs there. You had Mohamed Bangura. He counts still for as an APC MP.
Again, I have
because he still sits there as an APC MP, regardless of your political party internal issues. As far as Parliament is concerned, he is seated there as an MP for the APC.
Yes, I have told you that Mohamed Bangura now does not attend the meetings of the APC because he's under suspension.
That's your internal party issue, but he still sits as an APC member of Parliament. So when he sits in some of those sessions, he counts as an APC presence.
Should I react now? Like I have told you always, he is a suspended member of the All People's Congress. AYV, if peradventure they suspend Mr. Jones, when Mr. Jones goes to represent, he will not represent an institution in which he is suspended. You know, I have told you that the only mechanism that will get him out of parliament is not suspension, is expulsion. And expulsion, the only potent organ that has the capacity to expel is the National Delegate Conference. And we cannot hold the National Delegate Conference until when we go to choose our flag bearer.
As often as you reiterate this point,
so as far as now is concerned,
that he is still a member of parliament under APC.
No, as far as now is concerned, whatever he says or whatever he does may not reflect the views of the All People's Congress Party, because he is a suspended member. He does not attend the meetings of the All People's Congress.
But he is not an independent candidate in Parliament. So wherever he sits,
I'm coming.
He is still there as an APC MP.
That is what I am saying. I have told you that this man is a suspended member of the All People's Congress Party. You cannot send a suspended member to represent you. The only thing that is holding him in Parliament is 77(1)(k), which says that you must lose your membership in your party before ever you lose your seat in Parliament. And our party cannot expel him when we have not gone to the National Delegate Conference. So for Christ's sake, Mohamed Bangura would not even go to where they will invite all members of Parliament. He does not know the stance of the party. He does not interact with the party. He is suspended as far as now is concerned. That is what I'm telling you. His views may not reflect that of the party, because there is a disconnect because of the suspension. There is a disconnect. So whatever he says may not reflect the views of the party.
But wherever he shows up in Parliament,
it may not reflect the views of the party.
Which you would say is an APC problem, but not a Parliament problem.
No, he is suspended as far, and I have told you the intricacies. I have told you the political implication. So being that he's suspended within your party,
what then is his official stance or position in Parliament?
I have told you. Let me explain again. Maybe you would understand this time. I am saying, for you to lose your seat in Parliament, you must have lost your membership.
So he's still a member of Parliament.
He is not. He is suspended member of the All People's Congress.
You're still focusing on him as APC member. I'm asking you for Parliament, not your political party. You've reiterated as often as you can his position as a member of the APC. I'm asking you with Parliament. You've clarified his position that he's suspended within the APC. But as far as Parliament is concerned, what is his official status? Is he still a member of Parliament? And if so, is he there now as an independent or still a member of the APC?
Should I answer now? And I hope I will not be interjected while it's attempting to answer. I have said he can still be member of Parliament whilst he is suspended in the All People's Congress. Whilst he is suspended in the All People's Congress, he did not communicate the views of the party. He does not represent the view. He does not represent the views of the party.
From the APC perspective, but from the parliamentary perspective, he counts as an APC MP present.
Let me give you this illustrative example. Maybe it will help. If Mr. Jones is a member of AYV, and I guess on one or two occasions you've had suspended members of AYV, and those members cannot speak the views of AYV.
It's not because the same context in Parliament.
I'm coming. Whilst they are on suspension, they do not attend meetings.
It's not the same context.
They do not attend meetings.
Honorable Abdul,
we are saying
it's not the same context.
Because of the Constitution.
That analogy doesn't
we are saying because of the Constitution, you can be a suspended member of a political party and still be in Parliament. But whilst in Parliament, all what you say does not, or all what you say do not represent the view of the political party in which you have been suspended.
While that is
so you are just
waiting
expulsion.
It doesn't make a difference.
That is what I'm saying.
His status in Parliament.
So who is Mohamed Bangura representing right now in Parliament?
He's representing the All People's Congress Party. He's a member elected. Yes, that is what I'm saying. It's not difficult to understand.
I understand what you're saying. But
I'm sure the listeners and viewers would have understood me very correctly.
You're saying your arms are tied behind your back until you go to the next convention to remove the man.
No, I'm saying
that's the idea.
I am saying
so you can't do anything to him now.
No, I'm saying
to get out of Parliament.
Correct.
And so he will still continue to represent
but
you.
as it stands, he represents the APC.
No, he is suspended with the APC, but he went through the banners of the APC. And the Constitution is saying you cannot expel him from Parliament, or you cannot remove him from Parliament until until he is expelled from the party. So my position is, he is a member of Parliament from the All People's Congress, but he is not there now representing the views of the party because he is suspended.
But he makes statements.
He makes statements on his own. On his own, yes.
As far as the
APC members can make statements on their own and not on behalf of the party, because there is a disconnect between them and the party. They don't attend meetings of the party.
Honorable
they don't give the views of the party.
What do you think should have been the most decent thing for Honorable Mohammed Bangura to do in this current situation?
If I were him, I would just resign. I will not wait for the party to remove me to a national delegate conference.
When the man is being paid, do you think he will leave all of that money that's being
No,
paid on a monthly basis?
It's not about payment. You see, most times we focus to the enumeration and forget about the integrity.
But for him, perhaps it matters.
No.
He's working,
the integrity is what matters most.
I understand.
If I'm in Parliament, then I don't align my views with a political party, which took me to Parliament. I will not wait until the political party has the opportunity to go for national delegate conference before I'm removed. I'll just resign. Because I do not believe in.
If you were in the issue, you would have resigned.
Yes, I would have. I would have done that long ago. I would have done that. I will not wait for them to remove me.
Do you think it's a decent thing he's doing to keep representing the APC, especially in controversial sessions like this?
I had him.
You want all of you as APC MPs to be out of there, but he's there, counting as an APC presence.
Yes, I had him when he had the opportunity to speak. I was following, even though I was out of the country. I heard him very clearly. And he said he was talking not only for APC, but for the entire opposition in the country. He has the right to make whatsoever statement. But I am categorically telling you now that whatever he says does not reflect the views of the party. It does not attend meetings of the party. It is not a conduit in which the party will transmit message to the public or to Parliament. We are the legitimate conduit of the party. We are the people in which, when we speak what we say reflect the views of the party. So we cannot use somebody who is suspended from the party to assume that what he says is representing the party.
Honorable, we are rounding off. You always give timelines to government to do things. So do people expect any timeline as to when next they're going to be hearing from the APC?
Like I said.
Now, aside the meeting that you'll be convening.
Like I said, our decisions were well organized. And we did not take the decisions, without proper consultations. We met as a party, and the National Advisory Council will get onto the elected officials again and will tell them what the next line of action should be.
You had suspended your participation. Have you gone back to Parliament, or you're still avoiding the well? You're going to start discussing the Constitution soon.
I learned that...
it's around the corner,
I learned that the next sitting is on the 24th of February. No, March. The 24th of March.
Will be going
as
to
far
Parliament?
As now is concerned, our issues have not been resolved. So if sitting is called today, we will not go today.
So what actions are you expecting to be taken by the President or the SLPP-led government to get this resolved? What are your conditions?
We should engage. We are not averse to engagement.
Because Edmond Alpha is now in office.
No, we should engage. We should engage. We should engage. We should discuss. We should discuss the way forward. We have not closed doors to engagement. We have never closed doors to engagement.
Has the President invited you for that dialogue?
Now, as far as now is concerned, I don't know whether they have informed other authorities of the party. But as far as now is concerned, there is no invitation.
Have you also made an attempt to get a meeting with the President?
Well, I don't know for the Secretariat, because this is one of the things that the Secretary General was saying, that we need to have a meeting with the President. I don't know how far they have gone with that.
Obviously, Edmond Alpha is now in office, and he's protected by the Constitution to complete his term, except in other instances if he's found wanting in other areas. But his tenure is now guaranteed. He has been sworn in. There is no removing him from that office until he falls short of certain things. Is there an alternative to resolving this between the APC and the SLPP-led government to get you back to participate?
So what you're saying in short is that you're saying that you should find an alternative that does not sound like replacing him or removing him, because that is what you're asking me.
So what I'm asking
you're asking that
is there an alternative?
No, you're asking that without his removal, can APC go back to Parliament?
Oh, is that what's on the table for you? You want his removal? What do you really want?
We have concerns about his appointment, and we are open to dialogue. We are open to negotiations. We are open to whatsoever.
So what's that negotiation? Is there an alternative to he stays in office, you find other resolutions, or do you want him out of office? What do you want?
The negotitions can lead to anything. The negotiations can lead to anything.
So you're not specific on a particular thing?
We are specific. Had we not been specific, we would not have taken
No, I'm talking about the resolution going forward, not on what got you to this position.
Let me explain again. We are taking this action because of his own appointment. So we did not take the action blindly, or maybe we do not know why we took the action.
No. So the point is not why you took the action. I'm asking you. I'm asking you about the plan to the resolution.
So our resolve is we do not want him as the commissioner. That is what we've resolved, and that is why we took this action.
Do you think it's possible to get him out of office?
What is it that is not possible for the stability of Sierra Leone?
Even if it's constitutional.
For the stability of Sierra Leone, what is it that is not possible?
What
You were all here. There is a constitution. There is a constitution, and Foday Sanko was made vice president for the stability of this country. Were you not here when they went to Togo? Was Foday Sanko elected? But you prioritize the stability of your country. So it's not always constitution. You do what is reasonable.
You know, those times are now, they are different.
What if the president
those were not normal times.
And now it's normal time because Parliament is running.
You don't have war.
Now it's not normal time because Parliament. You don't need to have war before you do what is prudent.
Okay.
Don't wait until you have war before you do what is prudent. There are times to look for the peace of this country. Like I have stated, we have 8 million Sierra Leoneans. You can take anybody else.
But is it possible again that you could be talked to as APC to allow this man to? What if you're wrong, APC? Have you ever considered that? Let's flip the coin. Let's flip the coin.
This is the same question.
What if you're wrong?
You've asked me this question 3 times.
What's the first time I'm asking this? What if you're wrong? What if the APC is wrong?
Wrong in what sense?
This man is perhaps the fittest man or the right man to do this thing.
What if APC is wrong that we have not had evidences of Edmond Alpha presiding over the changing of the results of Kwenadogu?
Do you know if he has changed? Maybe he has changed. He's a changed man. Maybe he has seen Christ, and if at all that happened, I'm just saying. But these are allegations. You haven't come up with any evidence.
Let me tell you, when you, that's why even when we began our lower level election, I had to publicly make a statement so that they repose confidence on the IMC that is conducting the elections, because confidence is one of the things that would prevent assumptions. So once you have somebody whom the public does not have confidence in, it builds unnecessary assumptions. So because you have him now, whatever it does, whether it is genuine, whether it is not genuine, whether it is correct, is not correct, it will always raise suspicion because of the character. That is our point. So for the sake of the stability of our country, for the sake of peace, for the sake of the public to repose confidence on the electoral system, why not we be reasonable?
Aside the Electoral Parliament that you were making a case, even that the time wasn't even enough, have you ever approached any international body with this, with solid evidences to back your claims?
The party has not sat down. I am not the party as a whole. I have a role to play as the leader.
Has the party done this?
Of course, the party is meeting. The party is making engagements, several engagements.
What have they said, these international partners?
Well,
I'm just curious to know what they've said.
They have listened to the party. I'm sure in response to the party, they have also tried to engage government. They have also tried to engage government in response to the party.
As we round off now, Honorable Abdul Kargbo, how much longer do you foresee this dragging on, your abstinence?
It will be determined again by the party.
Okay. During that period, while you boycott, are you expecting to receive salaries?
Boycott is part of Parliament now.
Yeah, I'm not asking if boycott is part of Parliament. I'm asking if you're expecting to receive salaries.
Where in the world have you had that people are not paid because they are boycotting? Do you think sitting in the well is the only function of the member of Parliament? Or sitting in... No, as a member of Parliament, you have your moral obligations. Which
so would you be performing other functions aside from...
For sure, we are members of Parliament.
What other functions?
Like...
You have to be with your people. When they have their challenges, you have to see how best you probe into them. You have to ensure that there are lots of other responsibilities, not only sitting in the well. There are lots of other responsibilities of the member of Parliament. We should not only limit it to sitting in the well.
We have messages on our Facebook page we would like to read out. Victor Akomengot says, the opposition has been boxed into a corner. Knowing the president, he will not back down by removing the CSL commissioner. Musa Foni is saying, but your lower level election was rigged. Lionella says, Fode Sanko was never a VP, but chairman, mining committee. Quite a lot of messages here. Hosam Conte says, APC believes in fake propaganda. Fode Rahim says, there will be no salary for any baseless MPs failing to take the duties of the state. Wonason Sumaila says, Honorable AKK, that word you're saying is a call for concern. Abubakar Box Conte says, well said, leader. Okay, Julius Magona says, he will boycott Sierra Leone's parliament but attend the ECOWAS parliament because the latter has bigger salary. Don't allow this guy to deceive you. Abdul Kamara says, that's not what you've been saying. You gave the president an ultimatum. Morrison Adonis Benya says, we have several opposition parties and they are not currently causing any issues. However, I am somewhat concerned about the situation with the APC. While I do not usually express strong opinions, I have observed that the APC has been in opposition for quite some time, possibly due to certain decisions or handling that could be improved. Alfred Tommy Jr. says, government should stop paying all the MPs that boycotted. Hosam Conte says, Honorable Abdul Kargbo is talking about integrity. God gets patience for two. Wonason Samaila says, okay, I'd skip that. Anyway, we'll take these set of messages for now and see if we've got time to get another set.
Yeah, firstly, should I?
Yes.
Firstly, somebody said we are boycotting Sierra Leone Parliament and we are going to ECOWAS Parliament. Our decision is not to work with the government of Sierra Leone until our conditions, are met and until we sort out the impasse. Yeah? But somebody has to tell the story as to what is happening in Sierra Leone Parliament, in other parliaments. We cannot excommunicate ourselves entirely from the world, not informing them as to what is happening in Sierra Leone. If you don't go there, the people who go there on behalf of the delegation in Sierra Leone will create an impression that is not even obtaining on the ground, and that is how they will treat your issue with absolute levity. Yeah? And somebody is saying, that our lower level elections were rigged. Of course, there were complaints, and in a situation where over 446 elections were conducted, it's not even up to 20 or 30 elections that are going to be rerun because of the complaints. And the commission and the IMC and the complaint body so listening that when they take situations there, when they take complaint there of matters, that do not sit well with people, they attend to it. That is what we call democracy. Don't think that because that man is in opposition, he does not have any voice. We should marshal him. Whatsoever we say is what should happen. They listen to them. That is why people develop confidence in the complaint board and take their affairs to the complaint board, So like I've always reiterated, that we are open to dialogue. We have not shut the doors to dialogue. We've been meeting. Even yesterday there was an engagement which was with the Peace Commission. I was attended by international partners and the representative from ECOWAS as well. So we are continuously engaging, and we want these issues to be resolved as soon as possible. Like we said, government also has an obligation. As a government, you should be listening. Don't think that the opposition does not have a voice, or we should not listen to the opposition because they are opposition. Democracy cannot be complete without the opposition. That is why we have also stated, I want to assure you that there are people in governance, there are level-headed people in this current government. And I'm sure those people have called and they have made one or two attempts to reach out to us, So we are of the opinion that this issue will be resolved, this issue will be sorted out in the shortest possible means. But like I said, and I have insisted, that government has to listen to the opposition for the sake of Mama Salon, not for the sake of our personal egos, but for the sake of the stability of this country.
Okay, there are other messages I want you to hear. Ibrahim Mansai says the APC is being unreasonable. They're wrong on every aspect regarding this situation. That man has been duly elected and the APC has no power in this matter. Kamara Charles says you were asked to take your evidence to Parliament to stop his approval, but you guys didn't. That means you are not honest with the people of this country. Another message here. Someone using the name Jesus Imbobo on Facebook says, we the people of Sierra Leone are pleading to the APC to boycott the 2028 elections. This will help to solve the problem.
Yes, again, let me answer to the question of somebody who says that we are wrong on every other issue. One thing they should know, that we did not just go to Parliament because we felt like going to Parliament. And there should be a set of people that should stand for electoral integrity. So if we have decided that because we want electoral integrity and because we want elections to be free and fair, and we don't want anybody to announce results that do not reflect the voice and opinions of the people, that is why we are out there to make our views known. And going against government is democratic. So expressing our views or protesting, is democratic. Somebody says we should have taken our evidence to Parliament to stop. Who told you that would have stopped the process? It will never have stopped the process, because the composition of the committee alone, gives the ruling bench the advantage. So whatever evidence you take there will never have created any difference, So I'm saying this, and somebody is saying APC should boycott the 2028 elections. We are not going to boycott the elections. We'll contest that elections and we'll win that elections. We have begun to institute proper modalities to ensure that elections are fair, that elections is transparent, that elections does not fall under the category of 2023 elections that was widely condemned, that was widely opposed by almost all international observers, by the embassies, all the embassies in Sierra Leone. They came together, they made a joint statement about the lack of transparency, about the inconsistency in the statistical calculation, all the results. They made public statement that collation was done at the Tale Center without any counting officers, no any observer, know what was being collated. So we want that not to ever repeat in the history of Sierra Leone. I know some people, because it benefits them, they would be very much happy. They are gratifying the process now. But we are saying there should be correction, and that election's integrity should be protected in Sierra Leone. We should not go back to the old days where we come from. Because if people are sure that elections are very free and transparent, nobody will think to do anything else in this country.
Joining the conversation as well this morning is presidential spokesman, an advisor to the president, Alhaji Alpha Kanu. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Sorry we kept you waiting for a bit. He's been in our studio for quite a It's now.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm sure you've listened through the conversation. I mean, just to be fair, let's take a bite on the issue first before we can interrogate you.
In bits and pieces.
Okay.
I keep telling people that he should be the leader in Parliament and the party. I tell them that it is unfortunate for parties that have their leadership outside of Parliament. They tend to work outside of what the dictates of Parliament and the Constitution does. It's like us, we're up there. You know, like they say, when you're on the inside, you make demands. On the outside, you can only shout. Abdul is in, Honorable Abdul Kargbo, he's my MP. He's in Parliament. And he really understands. He's saying whatever he's saying now in defense of the party. But he knows the party is making a big mistake. He knows that the party, the constitutional safeguards are there for when things like this happen. That is why it is called the House of Representatives. We call it Parliament for short. The House of Representatives, for example, he is representing us in Potloko. We are 550,000 people. We only have 10 of them. And what does that mean? It means that all 550 of us cannot go into Parliament to discuss and make our voices heard. We entrust it to them, and he's the leader of that. So if 6 of those say they're not going to be taking part in the deliberations of governance and all that, it is tantamount to a dereliction of duty. And us as a people, I'm counting myself now as a voter for him, because I come from that constituency that he represents. It's going to be detrimental for them. But most importantly, leaving Parliament as it is and not taking part, he knows that the seats in Parliament do not belong to him or his colleagues. Neither did they belong to us when we were in Parliament. They belong to the people of Sierra Leone and those we represent specifically from Port Loko. So if you're not there, at some point there are provisions in the Constitution and the standing orders that if a parliamentarian stays out of Parliament for prolonged periods, we cannot leave these people unrepresented, or her people. The seats will be filled. And Honorable Abdul Kargbo knows that under the PR system, all of the 20 members of Parliament elect who were on the list of the APC for the 10 seats of Port Loko, because every seat in Port Loko has 2 alternatives, one to be in Parliament, another one to wait around. So there's 20. If 6 of them decide not to go, and the period stipulated by the standing order expires, to keep to the Constitution, those seats have to be filled. To be fair to the people of Port Loko like us, those seats have to be filled. And they will be filled from their list. And I know that there are people in those lists who will want to go into Parliament. They've already been elected. They are not sitting in Parliament today because they were not lucky to be at the top of the list. But they are all members of Parliament elected by the people of Sierra Leone. So they are MPs elect. They don't have to be elected again to go there. It's calling them and swearing them in. So that is what I'm telling them, that what you are doing, it is actually setting ultimatums when you don't have sanctions. The sanctions won't bite. Parliament will continue. Parliament will not be held in hostage while you are thinking what to do. So Parliament will continue, the laws are there, the safeguards are there, the quorum is there, the business of governance will continue, everything that Parliament will do will continue. They only need 33 people, he knows that.
You know, Honourable, let me take you to the crux of the matter. Honourable Kargbo has argued that for them, they are opposing the candidacy, well, specifically the character of the man you've sworn in yesterday to lead as Chief Electoral Commissioner. He's saying they have substantial evidence that this man had earlier engaged in a form of malfeasance, if you like, or corruption. Who advised President Bill to make this appointment? You're part of his advisors. I'm sure you're the chief advisor.
Well, we cannot apportion the advisory to the Excellency the President, as to individuals. He has people, he has a cabinet, he has advisors and all that. And he also has his own discretionary decisions that he takes. But let us look at Edmund Alpha. Edmund Alpha has been in the Electoral Commission for well over 20 years. That means at least 4 election cycles. And if we go backwards from 2023, it means he was there for 2023, he was there for 2018, he was there for 2012, and he was there for 2007. 4 election cycles, which has given him enough experience, institutional knowledge, to know how to run a commission, as a commissioner also. And apart from that, he has the knowledge, because he is qualified by the criteria of qualification in terms of educational background and knowledge. He has that. In terms of qualification as to the character and the person he is, he has that. Is Edmund...
In light of the evidences?
Yes, which evidence?
Yeah, they said the man had rigged an earlier election.
But that is a rumor. Where is the evidence for that? Did they go to court for that? There are places to go to for redress when those things happen. That's why I say, leave this party to Abdul for now. He's in Parliament, he understands. He knows that what he's saying is just towing the line of those people at the old railway line. But for him to be able to put that, he has to put evidence in front of us, in front of the court, and to verify that you go to court. However, I am saying, is Edmund Alpha qualified according to section 32(4)? Is he a Sierra Leonean? Yes. Is he a member of Parliament? No. Is he a minister? No. And is he over 65 years old? No. So he qualifies as a person. Then the president appoints him, nominates him rather, and sends it to all the political parties by writing. If you object, send an alternative. You don't just object and leave it in vacuum. That is disruptive. That's obstruction. Okay, I object to this person. I'll send Fabian. We suggest her. Something to discuss. Then the president will, can you come, let's talk about these 2 people. They didn't do that. They just gave an ultimatum. No, they did not suggest anybody. They should have. When you object,
that's prescribed by the law? That they should...
No, but if you ask me, I want this person. I say, no, I don't want him. I will suggest this person. Nobody will say no. You didn't do that. Now I'm coming. Let me finish, please. Let me finish. I've just come. Give me a chance, please. They didn't do that. If they had done that, at least you open the room for dialogue. But just say, no, we don't agree. You close it. You close the door. So that is the kind of situation you should have done. But out of 14 registered parties, 12 say yes. If one and maybe another, 2 a second, say no, you cannot disqualify the man. So for me...
In democracy, doesn't that matter, even though the number may be minute?
That is why in democracy, really, that matters. It matters. It is a majoritarian situation. A majoritarian. Out of 14, if you have 12 and you have 2 on the other side, where is the majority? Democracy says you go with the majority and look after the interests of the minority.
Let's look at stakes. One would say those are the parties who don't have much stake. As
they have a stake. They have a stake. They are fully registered in Sierra Leone. They are fully registered in Sierra Leone. They are governed by the same PPRC laws. They are governed by the same constitution. They represent people.
If we are to look at statistics generally in elections, how many percentages do these parties pull?
You prove that at election time.
No, I mean, we've read it's far lower than what perhaps the APC would get in a constituency.
Unfortunately, every party has 1 vote. There is no party with 2 votes. No veto powers. That is the thing. Unfortunately. So whether they have a 0 number of seats, or 5 or 10, or 48 as they have, you still have, or 58, sorry, or still have 1 vote. The veto power. No veto power. We are not in the Security Council.
So Honorable Abdul mentioned earlier that the action they've taken now were not just something they woke up to choose to do. It's what their people have instructed them to do. How do you still...
Which people?
Their people, he said.
For him, the Potluck people? I'm not aware that he had a public meeting in Port Loko to discuss this.
Had you been still in the APC, what advice would you have given them as the best action to take in a situation like this?
In a situation like this, thank you very much for that question. Had I been in the APC, this wouldn't have happened. Because when we were in the APC, we advised the leadership. And the leadership we had at the APC, we were all in Parliament. All of the people who were running the APC at that time were parliamentarians. And there we have our own caucus. We sit and discuss issues. And the Parliament comes back, the caucus comes and then advises the party members out there. So we would have finished it in Parliament to know that this wouldn't have taken place. I'll give you an example. There was only one time in Parliament that we decided that we were going to walk out. In 2003 or 2005, when John Oponjo Benjamin was appointed by President Kaba to be Minister of Finance. We walked out on the knowledge, on the grounds that he was a member of the NPRC that had kicked the APC out at that time. So we walked out. But we didn't leave the premises of Parliament. I then, as spokesman for the political and minister and mineral resources at the time, I advised our colleagues for us to repair to the Constitution Committee Room number 1. We sat there and we discussed, are we right? When everybody had spoken, I put my hand up. I said, John Oponjo Benjamin today that you are protesting against, he was a civilian in the NPRC. He was drafted into it. I said, but do you know that when he was almost chief minister then, chief secretary of state, when our own people, including you, Pamunu, including you, I don't have to call the names, were ministers, former ministers or permanent secretaries, you had been incarcerated at Pademba Road. And they had asked you to pay a certain amount of money for alleged misappropriations in your tenure. Unless you paid that, you were going to leave. Stay there in Parliament, in Pademba Road. You know that. It was John Oponjo Benjamin that myself and Ernest Bai Koroma went to at State House and pleaded with him. That time we were not active members of the APC. For him to talk to the leadership, Captain Strasser at the time, to allow you to pay by installment so that you can stay in your homes while we did this. We went there and he said yes. He said, we're not going to write the checks. So we went. I wrote checks, Ernest Koroma wrote checks, even when they were in Pademba Road, when you were in Pademba Road. He said, well, Alpha, you didn't tell us this. I said, there was no need to tell you. I said, but these are people who had shown tolerance at that time. So why do you walk out? So we reasoned here in Parliament, and we decided to go back and sit down for the approval. So there is always a voice that knows something that others may not know. You see, you do not lead from the center of the crowd. You lead from the front. And that is what Ernest Koroma used to do. And he was in Parliament. And we were there to advise him. If I had to answer your question, if I was in the APC, I would have advised against such action. Because it is an exercise in futility. It has no sanction. You make an ultimatum, you have no sanction. You don't go to Parliament? Yeah, you don't go to Parliament. What pain will that do to government? Nothing. Governance will continue. What pain will that do to the business of Parliament? Nothing.
He said it's a form of advocacy.
Sorry?
He said it's a form of advocacy.
Yeah, okay, let them advocate. But you could have advocated otherwise. You could sit in Parliament and advocate. You could sit there. Because the elections you're fighting for are still 2.5 years away. So you could sit there and keep on the argument and argument. There's no reason why later on, if they see that your argument has substance, you provide evidence and all that, and then maybe the leadership, you say, I mean, everything we do is not set in stone. It is set in the Constitution, and the Constitution is written by man. A man can amend that. It is not the Bible. It is not the Quran. So during that period, while you're advocating, you keep doing that. At the end of the day, maybe there may be change of mind. But what President Bio cannot do now is to sack Edmund Alpha, because he's been appointed, he's been approved by Parliament, and he has sworn in. Now he's stuck in the Constitution, sealed there. There are now conditions under which he can be removed. The only way you can do that is by making a presentation to Parliament and ask that under section so and so you believe that Parliament should vote for this man's removal. So if you're in Parliament, you could influence that. But staying in Parliament, like I said, when you're on the outside, you can only shout. Stay in there. If I was there, in the APC today, that wouldn't have happened. I would have advised against it. As I told them, for the issue at Atuga Stadium, it was premature. There was no reason to hold that rally. No reason. It's not a political time. I would have advised against it. So,
let's
if you have
come
to answer your question,
to Honourable Abdul Kargbo. Quite a lot has been said by the presidential spokesman.
Who came late?
Well, not very late, because you had been here a couple of minutes before we ushered you into the studio. But you risk losing your seats as he just presented. Do you have a rethink?
Let me just address one or two things he said before I'll come to this. You know, firstly, he said we shut the door on negotiation because we didn't appoint, or we didn't suggest another name for the president. Yes, my cutoff. First thing I want you to know is that the president has the sole prerogative, as enshrined in subsection 3 of 32, to appoint. The opposition cannot appoint for the president. So the opposition not suggesting a name for the president does not shut the door. What the opposition is saying, we all knew how the elections in 2023 went. And for the fact that government accepted that the election did not go the way it should go, and because we had so many condemnation of the process, that was why government decided to go into the agreement for national unity that culminated into the 80 recommendations from the tripartite. Yeah? And all of those were meant to ensure that what happened don't happen again in the history of this country. Since we began to hold elections, this is the first election that has been widely condemned by the international partners. All the embassies in Sierra Leone came together and they issued a statement, you know, and they categorically said that the election is not transparent, that the election, there are statistical inconsistency. And they even demanded that they publish polling stations results, that the commission publishes polling station results. So that, to a large extent, visa ban, visa restrictions were issued against people who played the greatest role to undermine democracy. Yeah? Even the MCC was conditionalized by the implementation of the agreement for national unity and the tripartite. So we are saying now, because we want peace, we want stability, we want people to entrust confidence in the electioneering process, let us don't have somebody who had participated in that elections, somebody who played key role in that elections to lead the commission. Because that was why the suggestion for a search and nomination committee was made, so that you have somebody whom the public can repose confidence in. Because when you repose confidence on somebody who is organizing the elections, it reduces suspicion. When you have somebody who is organizing the election that the public does not have confidence in, it increases suspicion. Whatever it does, whether it does it with a genuine purpose, the opposition will always suspect him. You see? So we have said, let us come together. Let us see how best we can be able to make sure that we have some confidence in the electioneering process in this country. So that was why that suggestion was made. Now the amendment is in Parliament. Yeah, the amendment is in Parliament. We have done first reading. Why don't we wait for us to do second reading and third reading? On several occasions, we have done first, second, and third reading on the same day. On the same day. So if President say we cannot wait for this election, for this constitution to be amended, I'll go back to the extant law, the current constitution, and appoint somebody. Why do you have to appoint somebody who has been accused? Why do you have to appoint somebody who has participated in the conduct of an election that has been widely condemned?
So remember earlier we asked you about the options you have.
No, I said it is, I'm repeating this, it is not our obligation to suggest for the president. That is his sole responsibility. That is his prerogative, according to the extant law.
You have outside the man's candidacy.
So what we say?
Honorable Khan is saying that you should petition the man in parliament.
No,
a parliamentarian.
No, listen, our petition in parliament cannot change it. Let me make this very clear.
If it's constitutional, then you have to debate it in parliament.
It cannot change anything. That is what I'm saying.
It appears as though you don't have much hope in parliament.
No, I'm a member of parliament. Parliament is numbers. Parliament is numbers. It's voting.
Does it require a 2/3?
No, it doesn't. It's simple majority. For him to pass in the committee, for him to pass in the well, is simple majority. So we are saying, you know, because the opposition has agreed that let us work with government now. Government has assured the opposition that this process is going to be transparent. We are going to do some reforms so that you have confidence on the process. We're going to do some reforms so that when results are announced, there will not be much doubt. We change the problems that we identified in the 2023 elections. And one of the problems is the composition of the commission. So we have said, because this man's appointment is contentious, you know, you can look for anybody else to appoint. Whether you have confidence in that person more than Edmond Alpha, you can go ahead to appoint that person. And you are saying because of Edmond Alpha had acted. This is not the first time he's acting. When Umfali went, Edmond Alpha acted for 7 months.
Okay.
And Cornell was appointed. And Cornell was not within the commission. It was appointed from the outside. So we are saying, because we want to build confidence, because we don't want tomorrow for any actions to be taken, and we say, oh, this action is because of this man has said it, this man, and Edmond Alpha has been very public that what happened, the way we will conduct the 2028 election will not be different.
What if you've taken
from
that out of context entirely? Don't you think you may have taken
I'm saying verbatim what he said.
No, I know, but in language you have to
that it will not be different.
You know,
it will not be different.
Do you know what he was referring to? It is the speaker who always determines the meaning of the statement.
What he said is what I'm saying. How you interpret it again is your own
verbatim.
No,
the Latin.
I have not
word for word.
No, I have not
understand.
Let me make myself.
No, I
have not interpreted what he said. I have said verbatim.
But you're giving context to what he meant.
No, I have not interpreted it. I am saying how you interpret it. It's yours.
Is that a worrying statement? In any
it's worrisome.
Why do you think so?
Because you know how people condemn the 2023 elections. You know that the French embassy, the German embassy, the British High Commission, the American embassy, the European Union delegation, they all came together and they made a statement about the 2023 elections.
Some of those reports.
And now, also, a lot of other people condemned the election. Okay. So we are saying to build the confidence of Sierra Leoneans.
I know you
know,
that.
even Edmond Alpha himself said people don't have trust in the commission. He did not say APC. He said the public does not have trust in the commission and they have the onus to rebuild the image of the commission. That was what he said.
But
except he wants to give it another.
Part of the rebuilding of that image.
So what I'm saying, the first way to begin to build public confidence is to appoint somebody who has not been entangled in all of these 2023 elections.
Again, let's go back to what Honorable Alpha Kanu said just now. He said during his time in Parliament, they had subtle but very effective ways to calm nerves, to strike agreements, you know, to make things happen. He gave a very pellucid example, you know, that happened, and checks were written at the end of the day, you know, transaction was made eventually. Could that have worked in your case?
Do you think we have not negotiated or we have not dialogued in this parliament?
It's yours to tell us. We are not there.
A lot of time. When have you ever had that we are fought in parliament? When have you ever had that?
Well, except when you...
When have you ever had that there is war? It's because we have...
blows were sent across the aisle?
No, that's why I'm saying it's because we have decided to dialogue.
Okay.
There is no issue in parliament that we have not settled through dialogue. at leadership level.
But why this should?
But
why
what
should
is
this be
the essence of dialogue? You listen to the other man. You listen to the other man. The leadership in Parliament would not say, because APC in the minority, let us don't listen to them. Let us stick by what we say. You understand? Like, for example, somebody was appointed to serve in Peace Commission.
Okay.
And at that time, I had the flyer of the person who was contesting for a position. And according to the act, nobody who is partisan should be appointed into the commission. We spoke with them.
Okay.
We dialogue. We hungered. You understand? But when you refuse to dialogue, at the end of the day, they remove him from the list. Because we dialogue. And we have always believed in dialogue. We have sat with them. There is no circumstances that we have refused to dialogue with them. Yeah? So that was why we were expecting a dialogue in this process. Let government doesn't say because APC is just one party, let us dismiss them with the back of the hand, let us don't engage them, let us don't talk with them, let us still go ahead because we have the constitutional mandate, we have the constitutional right, let us depend on it.
He just said you're about to lose your seats if you go for a prolonged period without appearing in Parliament. You could lose your seats, especially if this negotiation continues to be a stalemate between the party and the president.
Like I have said, our position is very clear. Our position is very clear.
Does this worth losing your seats?
Are you willing to risk it to lose your seats just to make this stance?
Our position is very clear. Our position is very clear. Our party took note of everything before they issued.
So you're willing to pay that price?
The party took note of every consequences.
You're willing to lose your seats, Honorable?
The position is very clear.
Okay.
Let me tell you, we have not only taken this decision because we felt like taking it.
Okay.
I'm telling you that this decision is predicated by even the elected officials. All of them were invited. All of them were invited.
Honorable Kanu, do you think the government is being heavy-handed on the opposition? Do you think you're suffocating them in any way? Because it appears as though the picture that Honorable, is painting this morning is that they have exhausted all other options and there is no clear way out of the tunnel.
In this particular issue?
In this one, yes.
No, I think the only thing they did is that to refuse, that they don't accept the objective. That's it. So where is the dialogue there? They didn't provide anything. What I said about suggesting somebody, it is a way of opening up dialogue if you were interested in that. They did not. We didn't say you appoint. The Constitution is clear. It's the president that appoints somebody, nominates, consults with the parties, then provide the necessary information to Parliament for them to approve. And that has been done. So, but if you have an objection of that particular person, and you have evidence, say, look, we would prefer you choose somebody else. Can we look at this person? Because they've been in governance before. They've chosen, I used to be with them. We have chosen electoral commissioners before, right? And President Bion, also yesterday when he was saying, he said when he was in 2012, when an electoral commissioner was being chosen, he was not consulted. He heard about it, but went about it. Now, let me say here, that he said that the 2023 election was the one that had flaws. I want to let him know that he was still in school at the time, maybe. 2007. We had issues. I was in the opposition. 447 polling stations of the SLPP, stronghold, were cancelled. They protested. We still went ahead and announced the results. That was contentious. 2012, when the polls, according to the SLPP at the time, in some of their strongholds, counting was still carrying on and announcements were made. And then it didn't stop there. Now I'm a statesman, so I can say things. Because the electoral commissioner then, he said if he had to go police, that was 2012. Isn't that contention enough? 2018, they refused to accept the result. They refused to, I was there in 2018. I accepted because I called and congratulated. But the candidate then, Dr. Samura Kamara, up till today, has not considered. and has not accepted the result. 2018. 2023 is a set pattern. It's the same thing. Just that it is intensified this time. But then he refused to go to court. The only reason he refused to go to court is that when you go to court, you must go with evidence. Like they say, when you go to equity, you go with clean hands. They had no evidence. So he said, I'm not going. He actually pronounced that he's not going. My brother here and my member of parliament who supervises me, who looks after my interest in Potloko district, said that in 2023, the results were not published at polling stations. I have been a tally clerk responsible for the coalition center of the APC for 2007 and 2012. We made sure that every polling station in the country, we had an agent there. That agent at the end of the day has to append his or her signature to the RRF forms when the results are announced. The results, ballots are counted in the open field. Everybody will see. And they announce the results. So even those who are not agents would have taken. IRN publishes the results. Independent Radio Network.
They were stopped from doing that.
IRN, okay, if they were stopped, but the RRF form still carried on. Everybody had RRF forms. And after that, the law of Sierra Leone, you take a copy of those RRF forms and give to every agent a copy of each polling station. And then you take a copy of that and paste it on the wall of the polling station for 3 months. After the results were announced, there were disturbances in Kono. I was part of the peace building committee that was set up between APC, SLPP and all that. When we went to Jayamaswa Fair, the RRF form was still there with the results, and that one showed that at that time, in Jayamaswa Fair, it was the APC that led. And they had the MP there. So it's a question of saying that the international community asked for the results to be published. They have been published. It is part of our law. They are made public the same day. So I don't understand why the superfluous demand for this.
The suspicion came when news results was different from the ECSL. That's where the contention lies.
They did not show their results.
But news showed theirs.
Let me tell you about
and
NEW.
it was different, inconsistent.
Let me tell you about NEW. NEW stands for National Elections Watch.
Yes.
NEW is the implementing partner in Sierra Leone for the Carter Center. On his way to, from his own words, mouth, video, on his way to the US, Dr. Samura Kamara said he stopped in London. And there he met one of the Carter Center members, who told him, please bear me with me, it's important, who told him that we, Carter Center, are not going to be observing the results, the elections in Sierra Leone, because we don't have money. He said, but since you are going to the US, please try and reach some senators and appeal for us to have some money so we can go there. Dr. Samura said this in a video, you can't say he didn't say it. He said, well, I went to America. I spoke to NDI. NDI is a National Democracy Institution, government institution, working with Congress. So, and they spoke to some congressmen and some senators to support Carter Center with money. So I have come, I got the money for Carter Center. Samura Kamara, a candidate for those elections, said he got money for Carter Center. Carter Center are the ones who finance NEW. So if would it surprise you if NEW comes back and say, we don't agree with these results?
But it's the same NEW that has been actually publishing results in the last 2 decades.
It's a conflict of interest, blatantly confirmed by the opposition candidate. He said he did. He went to work for money. So it's a conflict of interest. It's for solicitation and all that sort of thing. So whatever happens, they were complicit. So for me, their information is not credible.
So, from what you've explained, Honorable Kano, it appears as though this is a classic or iconic example of tit-for-tat kind of situation.
No.
You're paying back what the APC have done to you in the past.
It's because he mentioned Carter Center. He mentioned the international community to say that they didn't supply
the U.S. Embassy.
The U.S. Embassy and all that. Okay, well, I'm telling you, the Carter Center is from the U.S. The Carter Center, when they come here, they will be working with the U.S. Embassy and all that kind of thing. So, yes, of course, when an American comes here, especially official, they go to the British High Commission, they are in NATO. So please, let me just say,
how about the French Embassy?
Let me, they are in the EU. Let me tell you something. So you all know, but we know. Why don't you call the Commonwealth? Why don't you call the Commonwealth? Why don't you talk about the African Union? Why don't you talk about ECOWAS? These are all observers who said that the elections were okay. You're not calling that. You're only calling those who said that the elections were not. So this is a tit for tat. Now, if you are here, you will say the elections are not good for you. Why don't you? No, it's not a tit for tat. Why don't you go to the court?
You just said so. You said it's a tit for tat.
Who said tit for tat for what?
You did just now.
For what?
On the old situation.
No, tit for tat for what?
He forgets what he
said. Back to the APC for what they have done to you.
You tell us, because you said it.
I am telling you that they are here. If they believe that the results were rigged, go to court. They didn't go. Because they don't have results. They don't have evidence of that. So that is what I am telling you. I, Alpha Kano, had been there in that way. I would go to court. In 2018, they tried to go to court. But they asked me to sign the petition to court, for me to go and be the petitioner in court for Dr. Samura in JFK's office. I said, why should I? What about the candidate? Why does he petition for himself? I refused. Now, of course, it's preposterous asking me, an ordinary member, to protest the results of a candidate who is sitting there, who protests and says he doesn't like the result. I should sign that. This is something I'm telling you.
That's where everything started falling apart.
Thank you. I said, no, I will not do that.
Is that the reason why you left the APC?
No. Maybe it's the beginning of that. Maybe they didn't take it lightly. I refused to sign. I said, why? He said, well, because you can make good arguments. I said, but I'm not a lawyer. I cannot. You're a lawyer. Go there. You're the candidate. Sign. Why should I be the petitioner? I did not do that. These are the problems we have. You see, unfortunately, Abdul Kargbo is not the leader of the APC. It would have been different, I'll tell you. Or if the leader of the APC were in Parliament, you will realize there would have been a little bit more decorum in the behavior of our members, because we controlled them when we were in the Parliament and we were running the party.
When you say our members,
then when we say, there would have been a bit more decorum of our members. When we were in Parliament, our members were actually being guided by us from there, because almost all of us who were running the party were parliamentarians. So was Minkalu Mansare, so was I, so was Anes Baikuruma. There's a lot of us, we were there. You know?
Now, Honorable Abdul Kargbo is saying they're still looking to have a negotiation.
Fine.
Is the president willing to have a dialogue session with the APC?
He's a listening president. He's a listening president. He's willing. They are sharing.
But how can that happen?
They should make the move.
I asked him earlier if the president has invited them. He said he's not.
No, he will not.
He's not
sure. At the moment, no.
Hold on. He said he's not sure. Then I also asked him if they had requested to meet with the president.
Thank you.
He said he is not. He doesn't know. He's not sure.
That is the problem.
He cannot speak.
Thank you very much. That is the problem. Abdul Kargbo, who's a parliamentarian, had he been the leader of the party, he would know all these things. Now he doesn't know what they are doing there. And those people are outsiders. They can only shout. No, and when they shout, Abdul doesn't hear it. Abdul is in the inside. That is the problem. I am telling you, and I'm not telling you to go and stand for the leadership. Don't, because they will fight you.
Can I come in? Can I come in? Let me make certain clarifications. You know, I am in a party that does not manage information, especially at top level. The fact that I'm in Parliament shows that I'm privy to every information within the ranks and
But you just said you don't know.
No, I will tell you. I was even in a meeting yesterday. When I say I don't know whether it has happened since I came here, you know, I don't know. I'm not sure whether it has happened since I came here. But I'm in a meeting yesterday where it was very clear from the Secretariat that they have not done that yet. You understand? And one thing I would like my quarter to note that is that we should set a Sierra Leone that is good for the next generation. Yeah. We should not be dependent. The next generation is coming. I'm in the current generation.
No, you're not.
For me to be the leader of the opposition in Parliament,
thousands of years of friend ahead of you.
No.
You have hundreds of years
the next generation is yet to come.
Part of the next generation.
No, the next generation is yet to come. No. When you're in generation doesn't matter. The position and responsibility holds. We are making current decisions, very critical decisions. As a leader of the Parliament, I'm part of this generation. So like I'm saying, for the next generation not to suffer the consequences that we're suffering as a country, any other party will come next and there will be enough justification. I see my quarter here is trying to justify the 2023 elections, trying to discredit some of the institutions that did observation mission on the elections. And I see him struggling because the institutions were enormous that condemned the elections. You understand? And for the fact that government went into agreement with the opposition, it shows a lot that government agreed that there was problem with the elections. So we are looking at a way forward for the elections. We are looking at possible remedies, how these elections would be free and fair, how we begin to impose confidence on the opposition and the general public that these things will not happen again, So that is why when the president sees the reactions of the opposition, he should have engaged with the opposition. He should have spoken with the opposition. The opposition is always willing and open to talk with the president. On several occasions, the leadership of Parliament has met with the president, and the leadership of the party has met with the president on several occasions on issues affecting national peace, national stability.
And this is no exception because the presidential spokesman just said the president is also open to have a dialogue, but you would have to request a meeting.
I have had calls from senior ministers of government, and I've told them unequivocally that we are very prepared to meet with them, to discuss with them. You understand? But what I'm saying is that we should not say because we are in governance, we treat every request of the opposition, we dismiss it with the back of the hand and say, no, we are in authority, we are imposing.
Is that what has been done?
Yeah.
Did you request a meeting and it was turned down?
Minus the meeting. The mere fact that you wrote to the opposition to have their opinion, and the opposition sent in their opinion to you, it was a cause for engagement. You call them and say, what's the problem? I know we have already had an agreement.
Do you agree it's a two-way traffic that you're either called or you request?
That is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but do you agree it's a two-way traffic?
The mere fact that we were written to, we respected the letter from the office of from the office of the president, and we responded to the letter. And the president knows that the government already has an existing agreement with the opposition. You understand? So there was where we should have begun the negotiation. Right. We cannot say, yes, let's use our constitutional right, let's go ahead, let's appoint, this is our constitutional right, let's just disregard the opposition.
We're going to round off and the messages would be read, but just before the messages are read, why are you singling out the Chief Minister, Dr. David Moinina Senge, to not be a part of this negotiation with the government?
Now, of course, we, the opposition, will not meet with the Chief Minister.
We know you've made that stance. What I'm asking is, why is that your position?
Because you listen to Honorable Alpha Kano. When he is talking, he would never use a derogatory statement against the opposition. He is presenting the case maturely because he knows at the end of the day, he has a role to play. So anybody who has a role to play must be careful of his or her utterances. You cannot say the opposition is an absolute disgrace and you want to meet again with the absolute disgrace. Not under our watch. So for the fact that he has used the derogatory statement against the opposition will not sit with him.
All right, there are a lot of messages here.
I think I came last, so I have the last word there. Okay. 2023.
We're not at the last word yet.
No,
okay, fine. But it's not the last word. Let me just respond. The second to last word. The 2023 election is not the only one that was contentious. I tried to make that point here. 2018 was contentious. 2012 was contentious. 2007 were contentious. So the president looked at all of these issues and said in August 2023 in Parliament, so I have noticed that my colleagues are not here, my people from the APC are not here. It means that these laws that we are using for all of these elections, I enumerated them, made them by date, 2007, 2012 and all that, have not been well accepted by our people. There's something wrong with the laws. I am going to set up a committee that will look at this, review these laws, and then make a presentation for us to have better laws for the next election. He initiated it. And that is what turned out into the National Unity Agreement. And then the tripartite came out of the National Unity Agreement. So it's not something that was pushed down the throat of President BO. He initiated it of his own free volition because he wanted peace in Sierra Leone. He's a man of peace.
Oh, yeah, let me get some of the messages, Honorable. This is Patu Banta saying Sierra Leone is bigger than all of us. We should think Sierra Leone, not our respective political parties. For those threatening to do otherwise, we are not afraid of you either. Kamala Charles is saying you were sent to PPRC and the Secretary General did something different from what you were sent to do at PPRC. Honorable Kargbo, your party executive will not accord you the respect you deserve. MRC don't sing te, we not steal the land. Rahim, brother. Victor Fo and Aflakana, big player with APC left. Ibrahim Mansoure. Thank you, Alfakano. Exactly why APC is not referring to other election reports like the Commonwealth, AU, and ECOWAS. We are more than proud of SLPPNs to have signed this good player. When politics stumbles, the state pays. Continue to support the SLP government for the wrong reasons. They are buying lying foundations to repeat what happened in 2023. Cherino Khalid Bari saying there. This one is saying that, okay, the new never said it's the APC that won the election. New said President BO was on the lead, but the election would go to a runoff. Mohamed Al-Haji Komar. Change is the only constant factor in this. Anyone who refuses to change is doomed for life. If Honorable Khan can be speaking today against the APC, everyone should know that change is the only constant factor. From Kastitoka Abdul Karim. The APC MPs are enjoying boycotts because of PR. They know that if they remove them, APCs still have those seats. The Constitution is not clear on the nature of Constitution, nor does it provide for an alternative candidate to be recommended by those who are against the President's preferred appointment for the position of ECSL Commissioner. Victor Ako Mengo is saying. Abdul Kargbo is a lawmaker who doesn't believe in the national constitution. How can a lawmaker expect us to disqualify our national constitution and follow a treacherous agreement? I really feel sorry for the opposition MP. They're making their points and no one is ready to listen to them. Let us be aware that elections are a cycle, and let us not forget that what goes around comes around. The government, the SLPP and the APC should sit on a table to address electioneering process issues. And let's say the final, perhaps I would take, it appears as though viewers are truly concerned about this topic we're discussing. If you can please ask Mr. Ekeke if Edmond Alpha was part of the 2012 elections when 450 polling stations was cancelled in Kalau district. If yes, then now APC never doubted the credibility of the same person they are doubting now. Our politicians are just hypocrites and self-centered. Abdul Vande. These are the messages. Perhaps, Honorable Kanu, you like to start the ball rolling.
I have not said anything against the APC here. I have spoken the facts. The things that I mentioned, the incidences that I mentioned, are facts that a statesman like myself will always stand by. I will never say anything against the APC as a party or as the people who are there. They're my brothers. They're my friends. So I am saying, no, somebody said that I'm speaking against the APC now. I am not speaking against the APC. I'm stating facts, which will be very beneficial to read the texter, that when we speak the truth, The truth shall find us out. It will deliver us. That is what we are saying here. So I am saying, with all the support that's coming out there, my advice I have for my people, they're still my people. He's my MP. Go to Parliament. Believe me, he knows about the Timney proverb that says that when you do something without a sanction, it is tantamount to an ant biting a moving train. In other words, it's an exercise in futility. In Timney they say, train. Don't do that. You will not affect anything with the government. Maybe asking for dialogue, which I understand. I think he spoke with the ICPNC yesterday or something. Keep that. And then, you are the leader of Parliament. Talk to the leaders of the party. Let them approach the leader of the SLPP. They have a right to ask. When John Opunjo Benjamin was leader of the SLPP and we were in Parliament, whenever there was issues, he would call me or say, but I want to see Ernest. You understand? And they will come there and they will discuss. But this standoffishness, it doesn't work. Call. We are in dialogue. Call. At least he is the leader of the party and the government. As such, is the #1 citizen of Sierra Leone. Call him. Say, we want to meet and discuss these issues. What can we do? But staying out of Parliament. Yeah, I know you are okay. But the only way not get them. Let the pay this time. No salaries. And 30 days. And I believe if I was Speaker of Parliament, I'd sit down every day, except Saturday and Sunday. So the 30 days go past quick. Thank you very much.
Yes, basically, our stance are very clear. You know, we are doing this because we want Sierra Leone not to go back from where we come from. Of course, I agree that there were issues with other elections. But the issues we have with these 2023 elections were very unique. There had been no election in this country in which tally were not done in the presence of everybody. In fact, that is why they give you a copy of the RRF form, so that when you go to the tally center, you have your own copy and you see what is being added. But in this election, that was never done. So what happened in this 2023 election should not be allowed to repeat itself again. That is why we say the elections, we are not rigged on elections day. Decisions taken before the elections affected the outcomes of the elections. So as opposition, we will not sit and wait until after the election before we lend our voice. We want to lend our voice throughout the process, so that at the end of the day we contribute to the fairness of the elections. Like I said, government should note that, yeah, well, of course, government is government, but they should note that they have an agreement with the opposition for the sake of Sierra Leone and for the sake of our elections' credibility. Right. Let them don't dismiss that with the back of the hand. Let them give that due consideration, and let them see how best they can be able to repose confidence on the citizenship of this country that 2028 election is not going to result in the same manner.
Leader of the opposition, thank you so much. Honorable Alpha Kano, thank you for being here this morning. Truly appreciate your presence.
Well, this is where we would end today's edition of Wake Up Sierra Leone. Thanks to our guests for being here. Thank you to you, our lovely audience, for tuning in to the program, whether it has been through our DSTV channel, our radio, or the local TV station, even on Facebook or YouTube. Thank you for your time. To those who dropped comments on our Facebook page or YouTube page, thank you very much. Thanks to our sponsor Rokel Commercial Bank and all the advertisers supporting Wake Up Sierra Leone and AYV Media Empire generally. We have been your presenters. I am Phoebe Swiel.
And my name's Victor Jones. Indeed, continue to